Hello, Parsons, Collab Design for Literacy Beauties. This is Marcos, and this is our week 15, going to our final week 16 recap briefing video. One more week to go before our finals, and I want to make sure everybody's prepared and ready to end the semester and this class at the highest level and with the best work possible and a great feeling of accomplishment. So let's just dive into this quickly so you can get a recap on what we talked about in class and what's expected for our last session. So we just had on Thursday our final, not well, kind of final reviews of our audiovisual storybooks, and everyone's looking really great. Mostly done, but a lot of small changes for everybody, just to kind of get it refined and polished and at its best. Little details matter, so if you can put a little more work and love into the editing and the sound design and get the volumes right and get the background sound effects in there where needed, make make the little subtle movements and changes in your motion graphics, and just kind of go through with good strong standards and look for places to improve as we talked about in class. And that's part of what's due next week. And then we're going to be meeting at my office for our week 16 final reviews. And the AV book final files will be due. You have two things due: the audiovisual book, the final files for that, and then your review will include a final presentation deck. And it'll be a great time. We're going to be meet at my office, just like we did with the photo shoot, except instead of a photo studio, we're going to have a critique um, meeting room where we have four stations set up in the conference room, and then we'll have one in my office. Demi will be back for reviews. Also have my friend and designer who used to work for me, Marco, and his two middle school, elementary school aged kids who have been doing this for 4 or 5 years now, so they're real pros. You can see Alma down here in the corner, looking at it carefully and speaking back and giving really good feedback about what she likes and doesn't like. It'll be good. Also have Ahana coming, who was a former student of this class, but like 5 or 6, 7 years ago, maybe. And then also we'll have students from last year's class joining. So we have a good range of different kinds of people who have been in this class or have been part of Dirt's program and review sessions. It'll be a great time, and I look forward to it. And also, um, we're going to be doing some more photo shooting in the hallway. So do dress your coolest and best, because it's finals. You should anyway, and because you're in New York City and you're a Parsons design student, you should be dressing your coolest every day. But don't forget to do it today. We'll just do some casual shooting, and make sure you bring your baby board book if you took it home, or if you have it from when we first looked at it. But I'm going to be very excited to be sharing the storybooks with everybody. They look fantastic, and you'll be each able to bring home a book each, a copy of your book. Oh, and I was reminded yesterday that I've never followed through on asking for orders of your baby board book. So I'm going to put out an email saying, if you want additional baby board books, to just email back from that email with the amount. They're $20 each. And because I'm so late, I can't bring it to class. Sorry, but if you do want it, if you're going to be in New York in the summer, let me know. Or if you need me to mail it to you, or if you want to come by in the fall when you're back. But it'll take like 3 weeks maybe to get you copies once I order them. So it'll be late. It'll be by the time summer vacation's going, I'll have them. But consider if you want any, because it'll be great to get extra copies if you want. Okay, so two parts of the assignment. One is to complete your audiovisual book. So basically, take the feedback that we talked about in our review session. Create your final MP4 with sound. Make both the prototype in Figma with the intro panel that comes up and down, but don't embed that in your MP4. Have that be a separate MP4 without the prototype of the app, so that it's just a pure MP4 that doesn't have that interrupting it, so that we can put it on um, social media just as is without it looking like it's part of an app. Um, and then I want you to like upload your MP4, the final MP4, the mock-up prototype that you make, like the Figma thing. And then also I want you to include your source files from putting together the whole thing, so that if it needs to be edited in the future or translated or whatever, like, and we want to have, we don't want just the embedded MP4, we want the assets that we can shift things around if needed. So that's what yeah, upload all source files. Okay, so here's an example on Canvas. It shows how the student has the image files, the audio files, the After Effect file, um, and then their Google Stories or Google Slides and the MP4. So all the parts are kind of there. So make sure you upload that. There's a link to the class Google Drive to upload that. And this final files is a separate assignment, part four, final files. So make sure you do that. And you'll find the new final files in the Google Drive. And then the second part is to do a final review deck. And basically, you're going to consolidate your decks from all three projects into one deck. It'll be a little more concise and maybe slightly update in the design just to make it streamlined, because the goal is for you to sit down with somebody and be able to kind of take them thoroughly through your project without taking too long and without going through too many details, but still hitting all the aspects of the story of your project, from the initial story and what it's about and the concept you developed and your process of creating a storyboard and creating a visual language for your illustration style and your design approach, and then showcasing your finished book both on the screen and by handing them your book. So basically, um, what you'll need to do is, am I going backwards here? Something's going wrong. Yes, this should be the Canvas for the presentation. I messed this up, but there's final review presentations is the folder in the Google Drive that you can add into. And then also I have included in class resources, there's a folder under class resources called Final Presentation Deck Examples. And these are the decks that I put in here. And let's go through one of those decks. So here's an example of what you should be putting together for your final presentation. Again, the cover page, just like you've done, use the same design if you want. Uh, Put a thing in here about dirt, but you don't have to explain this in your reviews. This is a nice idea to have like a little table of contents, or just not table of contents, but like an overview of what's going to be in the presentation. Title page maybe for each of your projects, and talk about your concept, show your visual inspiration, and then the process of developing a storyboard, and then go through your final spreads in a nice presentation form that makes them come to life. And you'll also have the book that you can hand to them as well. And then you have an overview of the whole book on one page, because it might be helpful when they're done that they come to this page and they can talk about the book in this context here. It makes it super helpful. Little details like the shadow are nice. And then you repeat the storyboard, same thing, same components, from storyboard to finished piece, and then create a good, strong visual presentation of your book. And then the audio visual storybook, same deal. And then make sure that you're able to play it on your Google Slides. And when you play it, just make sure that you sort of read the room in terms of who you're talking to. Like if they're into it and listening intently, like take it through. If you have a very long one, you might want to skip through and keep like play it through one part. Then you might know that at 50 seconds, it's good to stop and go to 2 minutes and 25 seconds where another part happens. If it, have that ready in case it's too much to try to listen to the whole thing. It also will be kind of noisy in the room, so it might be difficult to hear. So just be ready, be on the defensive for adjusting, but you might just play the whole thing through, and that would be fine too. Um, just keep the presentation from dragging on too long, so they have time to talk to you about it after it's done. And then this is the key thing. After all those three, then I think having a page right before your very important thank you page, and you guys have been brilliant at thank you pages, so make sure you have that at the end. But then after you're done, go back one page and you have all your projects just on one page. So then you can leave it there, and when they give feedback, they can talk about how their favorite thing was this or how they really like that this aspect of it. And they might ask you to like go back and show you like certain things, so you get ready to do that. But if you have that overview page, then you have a good place to kind of have everything in one spot. Okay, so make sure those decks are nicely put together and that you upload them to the Google Drive. And then next week, just arrive to my office as close to 7 as you can. I know some of you have classes right before, and that's okay if you're late because there will be waiting as there's going to be 5 stations and there's 14 of you. But I'm going to ask that each of you, besides presenting, also sit in next to a classmate for 2 or 3 different students' presentations so that you have that to do while you're waiting, or also you're getting your photo taken. Um, but sitting in is, and then there's also going to be snacks. So you can take a break too. But try to use the class as much as you can, and make sure you're aware of how many times you've gone and not hogging, like if you hogging the judges. Like if you just went and somebody's been waiting, let them go to the next judge and just, I'll try to be there to supervise that, but be aware of that because there's more of you than there are judges. And then the last thing is the class survey. The evaluation surveys are out, and I really, really, really want to get 100% everybody to participate and to give feedback on the survey so that we've got a good active class giving feedback. Doesn't take long, fill them out, but also give me written feedback because I read that and it means a lot to me, and I'd love to hear how your experience has gone with this class. Um, of course, mostly positive, but of course, if there's things that I can do better, then to express that. But you can also just tell me face to face. You don't have to secretly write it. But I would love to get feedback from everybody. So please participate in that. And if you wait till the end of the class, it might be better because then you've got the full experience. And also, I will encourage you at the last review that maybe you can do that while you're waiting. It's going to be on. I'm going to give everybody a checklist, and one of them will be that you filled out your class survey. Um, okay, that's it. So lock in and get in finishing your AV book, and then upload those files, and then move on to getting your presentation ready, and then get yourselves looking your best and head to my office. I'll send an email with the directions. Also look out for an email from the building that'll give you a pass to get in. And we will look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. Have a great weekend, get lots done, and don't be too stressed out. One more week to go, and then you got the summer ahead of you. See you guys on Thursday.